the people who have to sacrifice first is the marginalized people.
Right.
The people who live closer to the ecosystem.
Yeah, it was hot like this 10 years ago, and then the cycle just comes back again. Is that something that is? Can we believe that?
Can imagine that in the span of like 5 years, we can lose half of Great Barrier Reef. But we all have to be accountable for it because nature keep at the bill that we have used up.
I forgot what I was going to ask. So today, very special นะครับอาจารย์เพชรมโนปวิทย์สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับผม Usually we speak in Thai together, but I feel that like a lot of listeners and a lot of the feedback like to hear people speak in English, and today we are blessed to have a true scientist, a true conservationist, represents Thailand both domestically and internationally, go represent our country in so many different areas, has worked in biodiversity, in climate change, in the extinction of animals, has worked in conservation in the field of many areas in Thailand. So today it is my super honor to have Ajahn with us today. So Ajahn, I know like we normally don't speak in English, but allow me to speak in English with you today, if that's okay.
Sure.
So it's okay,นะครับ. So I'm just going to start with some silly questions, like nothing too serious. So let's get on with it.
Sure.
Okay. What is the loudest animal in the world?
Elephant can be quite loud. Especially when you run into them up close. So very scary and also quite frightening experience. So when you hear the elephant in the forest too close to be comfortable, then it feels like very loud.
Has that ever been an experience for yourself?
Yes, a couple of times,
In Thailand?
In Thailand, when I still work in the field in Kangkachan, so we do elephant survey, trying to collect elephant dung. And the funny part is you also hope to see the freshest elephant dung possible because that's the best dung that you can get for the DNA testing. So many times we came too close to the elephant, and then that's a very loud, and then everybody just run.
Okay, so is it true or false that bamboos can grow over 1 meter in a day?
Definitely true. It's the magical plant that I think could provide many solutions to our problems.
Yeah, and it's actually a very good metaphor, bamboos. The other day I was with someone and they were like teaching me like how to lay a good foundation. They're like, the bamboo grows 1 meter. As we said, the bamboo can grow 1 meter in a day. It grows very tall, but before it gets to that point, underground, it has to set its system very strong. Is that correct?
Yes. Very strong root. So many benefits, and I think you don't realize because it's so strong, but bamboo is actually a kind of grass.
It's a grass.
It can be very flexible, but at the same time very strong.
Which country is a country that has very high biodiversity that you've been to?
Oh, very recently as well. So Colombia.
Okay.
It has the highest number of bird species, and I think it's one of the mega biodiversity country.
Okay.
Indonesia also closely behind, I think.
Okay. And is there like when you're in, like, suppose you go to Colombia, can you sense that with your own knowledge that this is very highly biodiverse?
If you are in natural forest, you can definitely sense that. Yes.
Okay. Which is your favorite animal that you have done research on?
Done research on, I think the corals. Yes. Because I think too many people surprised, corals are animals, but I think it's a whole ecosystem by itself, very vulnerable, but at the same time very important. And I think to me it's also kind of a iconic species and ecosystem if we are going to fight climate change because if we lose climate change, corals die and it's already happening. So it's really kind of something that I hope people will aware more and like kind of use it as a indicator how are we winning in this climate war.
Yeah. So corals are really like a foundation to all marine life, basically. Is that correct?
Yeah,
like just
about
like the beginning.
At least a quarter of all marine life depend on corals.
And you can see that it is a huge problem with climate change, especially in these last 2-3 years.
Absolutely. I don't think people can imagine that in the span of like 5 years, we can lose half of Great Barrier Reef. One of the largest, most amazing ecosystem. Something you can see from the space, and half of them are dead. During this 5 years period. So, and to me, it really coming back to how our daily life can have such a serious percussion, consequences to other animal, to other ecosystem, and you think that you have nothing to do with the extinction of coral reefs, but everything we consume, how we live our lives, all contribute to the fate of coral reefs.
Hi guys, so before we continue with this podcast, I just want to share something exciting with you, and it's called Think Thailand, a campaign by the Department of International Trade Promotions, or DITP, under Thailand's Ministry of Commerce. So what exactly is DITP's mission? And that is to help Thai products and services shine on a global stage, not just through exports, but by promoting the innovation, the creativity, and the culture behind all of the products. And that's exactly what Think Thailand is about. So this year concept is Born Thai, Buzz Global, which means rooted in Thai heritage, but made a real impact and buzz around the world. And this year, we're spotlighting products that reflect major lifestyle trends, starting with sustainability-related products made with eco-conscious materials, thoughtful designs, and production processes that care for the planet. So here are some of the products that are in this campaign. I just want to talk a little bit about them. So what we have here and in front in green right here is Bioplastique, which is an eco-friendly plastic brand that uses leftover natural materials like hemp, like rice straws, wood scraps, and cacao shells. And it's built on the idea of mass inclusivity, which is making sustainability stylish and accessible at the same time. And their slogan says, when we change, the world changes. So here we have Ringo, which is a cleaning product that minimizes chemical uses, and they focus on natural ingredients that are biodegradable and safe for the environment. And here, of course, we have Reef, which is a sunscreen brand that uses coral reefs as a symbol to raise awareness about the impacts of chemical waste, unsustainable tourism, and coastal development. So their gentle formula uses non-nano mineral filters that protect your skin without harming coral reefs, so you can care for your body and the ocean at the same time. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. By us supporting and us as consumers buying these products is not only helping ourselves, but it is helping shaping our planet to become a better place. So let's be part of that change. So IUCN is a International Union Conservation of Nature that goes around and does research on animals to protect the balance of biodiversity. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
And all animals play a big role in that. So when you go to zoos, you can see that this animal is going extinct, critically endangered from the wild, which means that they might have it in the zoo. So you've worked with a lot of animals. Which animal did you feel that was really important to the ecosystem that people may not know about?
That may not know about?
Or any animal, yeah.
Yeah, because something that I feel like is something as a Thai people we should proud of is a tiger. When I start working with WCS and moving to IUCN, I think in Hoi Khai Keng, tiger population was down to like only 50, 60 individual, and then now we kind of quadruple it. So it really showed the success, and I think it showed that conservation can succeed if you put all the jigsaw together. You have strong science, you have also effective law enforcement, and then you also have the community outreach. So all jigsaw have to come together. And oftentimes I think conservation is not rocket science. You know all the solution, but it's just how you really kind of put together, put the right man on the right job, empower them, empower people in the system. If you are NGO, you also help bridging the gap between government and communities. And when everybody has thing come together, conservation works, and it can work wonderfully. People have the same goal, can come together. NGO with all the differences can come together using the same approach. So to me, tiger conservation in Thailand has been a role model around the world. So now we welcome many people who come and learn about how did we do that, from the country that on the brink of extinction in terms of tiger, we boost, we recover our prey population, then the tiger thrive. So that's something that I think people know about tiger, but maybe don't realize about how we did it. But Thailand did it, so I feel like we have no excuses to do for other animal, for other ecosystem, to do it for marine too. So that my hope, that trying to sort of use tiger example to inspire people that, hey, look, I mean, with all the problem that we have, the system that not perfect, there's a lot of problems, gaps and holes, but we pull it up in terms of like tiger, in terms of a core area, and now we're working across the landscape. So we should really all inspired by that. I think another maybe lesser known animal is pangolin. It's very hard to find. I never seen one in the wild, but every now and then we got a report, sadly, from illegal wildlife trade, and then they arrested. But believe it or not, also I think one of the first field study of the pangolin was conducted here in Thailand, in southern forest complex by Zoological Society of London.
Right.
So very mystic animal. Nobody really kind of understand, and I feel that to do conservation effectively, you have to start with science, start with like strong research, and then that kind of will bring everything back to the mutual goal. Because without information, sometimes in conservation we argue a lot, we debate a lot, and sometimes it gets personal. People. I mean, you probably heard like, animal politics, people in the same animal sometimes don't get along, and sometimes it's just too sad to me, because it's very few of us, working in this field, but sometimes people don't get along, people tend to sort of do their own thing, and that last thing you want for conservation, because there's so few of us, we are also in danger.
And it slows down all the processes too. Right, because like as you're saying, I completely can, and I've been in situations where I've seen like they're saving something, but because of the disagreement, that thing doesn't get saved, because it becomes like a personal thing. But like it all comes back to, how do you keep so neutral about it? Like, do you have enemies?
Must be.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I've never heard anything or anyone say anything like negative about you, honestly. Like, so how do you, because obviously as a scientist, you have to lead through science, right? With whatever you do. Is it difficult to not take sides sometimes?
Well, I always take sides, but I feel like I can try to look from a different angle as well. And in conservation, sometimes there's no right or wrong, but how to bring people together. And I think as a conservation scientist, it's so important that you remain optimistic, like cautious optimistic, because things can go wrong every single day, and then when you have people working on the same thing, definitely people gonna kind of come to disagreement and this and that, or even government and NGO oftentimes. And I've been on that shoes. I was inสืบนักฆ่าเสถียร. It is a very kind of at that time also very influential NGO, but at the same time we play a role as watchdog. So we come to head with government so many times with the development project. But I think what we're trying to stick with is science and the fact. So if you kind of stick to that, we can come to agree at some point, how to solve the problem and also building consensus among the public as well, because I think information is key to build consensus and also being honest, being transparent about your approach. It always also at the end I think it pay off. Maybe I can give one example because when I was with WCS, Wildlife Conservation Society, the director at the time, so we did probably the first camera trapping of tiger in Khao Yai National Park. And back then, I mean, this is over 20 years ago now. And back then, Khao Yai is symbol for tiger. If you go to the park, you see tiger stuff because of it came to attack the ranger, so it got shot, so it displayed there. So Khao Yai always known as tiger home. So WCS did the camera trapping all throughout the park. And we found only one tiger sort of on the camera trapping. And I think the reaction was we must did something wrong. You didn't maybe cover well enough, a bad design. Nobody accept the fact that the tiger situation was very desperate at that time. And it was because of the rampant poaching. At that time, there's a very high price of aloe wood. So we have a lot of hunter, a lot of poacher from neighboring country, from local, got hired with a bit of money, get into the forest, you find your own food, and then cut many aloe wood as much as many as you can find, and that just bringing a big poaching pressure.
Right.
So once the prey down, tiger was also targeted, and within a few years after that, although at that time, the result wasn't pleased everyone because they feel the government felt also lose of face. There's no only one or two tiger in Khao Yai. That's not possible. But along the line, fact is fact. So tiger really do go extinct in Khao Yai because of the poaching, because of the hunting. And I think it's just example. This is also same with India. In many tiger reserve in India, at that time, they do the research of tiger by Pakmak. So they did the survey. It's a loophole for ranger or the manager to tell whatever they want to tell. There's no problem. There's still plenty of tiger. And it's the same story that a number of tiger reserve had tiger went extinct, in front of their watch. So we have to sort of use this information to wake everybody up and also come to the term with how bad the situation is and how bad we can improve it. And over the years, I think in Khao Yai National Park, although we lost tiger, but many situations got better. And luckily now we still have tiger population in sort of Pangsida National Park, Thaplan National Park. So we still have hope to bring tiger back. And Thai government even built a corridor trying to link between Khao Yai and the rest of the forest complex. So I think remain neutral is one thing. I don't think I remain neutral. I always have a strong opinion as well, but trying to approach it in a way that I'm not biased and also see different perspective as well. People often feel a bit take it personal when people criticize their work. But I think sometimes we can use science to rally people up and also sort of creating perhaps safe discussion zone as well, where people can feel safe to express their opinion.
Right.
But I think it's so important to bring people from like different opinion to work together and use science to sort of break down these differences.
So as a scientist yourself, like this is one thing that I've always like, because I'm not a scientist, but I work like I go and I talk to people and I see things, and like right now our biggest issue is climate change or biodiversity loss, right? And so as a scientist, is it part of a cycle that the world is supposed to go in? Like they say that, like some people say that it is
It's natural
is
cycle.
natural.
Yeah.
The world is supposed to get hot. It was hot like this 10 years ago, and then the cycle just comes back again. Is that something that is? Can we believe that?
I wish we could believe that, but the scientific data just doesn't add up. And I think we it's funny thing, the first group of scientists who discover about climate change is the one that work in fossil fuel business, because that's their business.
Right.
So they figured it out a long time ago.
Okay.
But they were
not saying
prevented from putting it in public.
Okay.
And the fossil fuel industry spend a lot of money creating doubt over the issue, because it's actually a basic physics. So if you add the carbon dioxide up, and how our world is almost like a greenhouse anyway, so you're gonna heat up the planet.
Right.
And they can calculate exactly, even the basic the early calculation that if you add up this much carbon dioxide, how the earth temperature will rise, and it will going to rise very quickly, once hit a certain point. So I don't think we have the excuses for uncertainty because of the science anymore. And I think throughout the process of sort of climate science, now we have over 99.99% that the climate change is caused by human activity because of the amount that we burn out the fossil fuel.
And what is like, is there a solution, or are we in a stage where we just have to try and
mitigate.
What is the word for that?
Mitigation.
Mitigate this, or can we reverse back, do you think?
We can, and I think we have to. We must, because that basically human civilization is at stake. We are living in a very exciting time, good and bad, because it's sort of all this bad stuff. It's just accumulating to the closer and closer to tipping point.
Right.
So scientists often say that if we want to do something about climate change, we have to do it now. If we want to do something about biodiversity loss, we have to do it now, because 20, 30 years from now, even we have everything we want to, it might be too late, because all this earth system already shift. And I think it is exciting time that we can still do something about it, because now that we know how bad the situation is, how sick our earth is, in all parameter, so we the scientists creating this concept called planetary boundaries.
Right.
Climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, it's just 3 parameters, so we still have nitrogen and phosphorus cycle, which is also was very serious. I think from the first diagnosis, so we have first diagnosis of the earth health maybe in 2009, this so-called planetary boundary. And the first most serious one is actually not climate change. We learned from that assessment that biodiversity loss was the serious one. We keep losing the species a lot faster than like I think about 1,000 times than the natural cycle. So this is bad, and people ask, so what if we lose tiger, right? It's just a cat. We lose dugong, so what?
What does that have to do with me? I
exactly,
live in the
exactly.
Right.
But I think one analogy that I like is it's a scientist that kind of have to go testify to the U.S. Parliament Congress about, he compared that if nut and bolt of the airplane keep losing one by one, that might not feel, you keep losing that and that. But I think at certain point we don't know which species going to be the last one that hold thing together. And that's a tragedy if the airplane crash, because if we say everybody want to die, that's absolutely natural process, right? But if we all gonna die tomorrow, I think that's a tragedy. And I think that what we do to nature at the moment, so if the species 1 or 2 go extinct every 1,000 year, that's normal. But now we're putting so many species at risk of extinction. I think up to 1 million species now threatened with extinction.
Oh, wow.
So that's what we are doing to the natural world. We are keeping, tearing apart this airplane. And who knows, which going to be the last one that hold things together. And then if the plane crash, yes, we all gonna die.
Yeah, and that is a very interesting way of putting it, because like we're pretty much living on like a on a thread right now, which is similar to what you're referring to. And we've seen a lot of people's lives that have been affected, especially here in Thailand. Like we've had floods up north that we've never had before last year. We've had coral bleaching. I don't know what the percentage is, but in many places in Thailand, we've had, what else have we had? We've had the hottest years in many years. We've had islands that have run out of water. We've had the earthquake, and that could that all be linked with climate change or biodiversity loss, you think?
Maybe not all of it, but definitely climate change accelerate many of the problems.
For sure. Okay.
For example, I think seagrass die off that we are facing in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Many people link it with climate change. I feel that the change in climate may be, and it will be, in many cases, the last straw. So if you have the healthy ecosystem, if you still have so many species doing what they're supposed to do, you keep the system together, keeping it healthy. You get hit something, you're not gonna die. You maybe get sick, but you're coming back. But if you are already sick so bad from so many issues, if you get hit another one by climate change, that where it's going to like tipping you off to the sort of different state. And that's almost an analogy of resilience, sort of. I think in conservation now we said that we are building resilience. We are making the system more resistant to change and also more adaptive. Even it get hit, it can come back. Same with, I think, human health. If you are strong, if you live well, if you have a healthy routine, I think if you get hit with something bad, it still knock you off, but you're gonna come back. You're gonna be able to come back. But when the system is so degraded, I think that really you put the system on the brink. And the sad thing of all this, I think you still keep hearing about, hey, but you have to emphasize on economic first. It's very important. Who's gonna pay? Who's gonna have the money? We're not a developed country, right? We have to focus on economic first. But you see, like every time we have this sort of crisis, you have the flood, you have the forest fire, you have PM2.5. The people who have to sacrifice first is the marginalized people, the people who live closer to the ecosystem. So it's actually the people who said that economic first are the one that have all the safety net, to survive. So I think it is also kind of a justice issue as well. So many people say that climate change is the moral issue, because actually the one who suffer the most has the least thing to do with climate change, with the greenhouse gas emission.
I know exactly what you're saying. Like if we go back to many places around, the people that are actually offsetting the least carbon are the most getting affected. We live in the city. We we're responsible for the
Yeah.
emission, but the people that who are living directly with nature, they're the ones that are getting affected. And we're talking about schools, we're talking about communities, we're talking about local people within the area. So many times that they've had to change. Like for example, they're fishermen, no fish left in the ocean or in the rivers. They have to change their jobs and they come on land. They have to change their world. This is actually something that is happening like in many places in Thailand. And you always talk about nature-based solution, right? I see in your posts, I see like you go talk about this. So could you maybe like explain like what is the concept of nature-based solution?
Yeah, I think very perhaps easy to understand is we're trying to enhance the power of nature to solve the problem that we have today. You know, so we already have climate change problem. Undeniably, you know, it's going to hit everyone, and so perhaps comparing. So if you want to store the water, the typical solution, you know, you build reservoir, you build dam to keep the water. So that's kind of built to purpose. But you imagine forests actually doing the same thing. They help store the water in the watershed. But having forests providing you with multiple benefits. It providing you with food. It providing you with recreational opportunity. So it's like the nature-based solution, having nature intact, trying to protect the nature. It's not only solving one problem, but it actually brings so many co-benefits. So preserving wetland, it can also help people mitigate with flooding. During the drought, during the serious drought, you can also have the place to store your water. And I think the concept is really picking up by so many, you know, so many sector. It coming from conservation science first, because we prove that by learning from nature how nature works. For example, waste issue. In nature, there's no waste. Everything recycle perfectly, right? So if we can learn from that, how do we live very sort of develop such a perfect recycling system? Nutrient also got recycled. Now we have used so much fertilizer and pesticide. In 50 years, you know, in Thailand, we increase amount of use by 100-fold. That's the amount that become the burden to farmer, that become the burden to everyone. And actually, the amount of fertilizer and pesticide that got washed off, you know, it causing another problem down the stream to the marine. And in 100-fold that we have used, is only we increase the yield by only twice, double. So the proportion is just, you know, way off chart. And I think we have to learn a much better system. And many design, also in terms of the design, you can learn from nature as well. Everything got through millions of years of evolution. So actually they have developed the best system for the function that they're supposed to perform. Shark, for example, you know, it has been in the world for over like 400 million years without much change in terms of like physiology, you know. So it means that it come to the apex of the evolution. So if we learn from that, you know, every design, the Shinkansen, we also learn from nature, you know, how the kingfisher sort of catch the prey underwater. It's so aerodynamic. And that's how the Japanese, you know, design the head of the Shinkansen. Just follow the sort of the shape of the kingfisher beak. So many things that we learn, you know, like from nature. And I feel like there's tremendous opportunity that we can capitalize potential of nature and also educate people why that we need nature. Because now, you know, we live in aircon, we are so removed from nature, and oftentimes it's got question, why do we need nature? We got everything that we need right here, right? But then if you trace it back, everything that we use from, you know, you open your eyes up, the air you breathe, you know, all the way when you sleep, everything actually you derive from nature. So we call it like ecosystem services. And the problem is we take it for granted, you know, for a very long time, right? So we live in the linear economy. So we extract the resources, we use, and then we discard it. All this linear economy keep taking too much on one hand, leaving too much on the other end. Become like we have triple planetary crisis right now just because of this basic economy, and we thought that we're gonna live right this forever, but it's not, because we have only one planet, and everything it definite resources is not indefinite.
And just going back on like nature-based solutions, as we're talking about this subject right now, I'm just curious myself, like like when you travel up north, you go to the northeast region, you go to Nan, and the deeper you go, the more mountains you see that have been affected by either deforestation, either agriculture purposes, which the natural nature is not there. I mean, you got to understand that people need to live, people need to make a living. Like, we're not saying that farming is bad here, and not at all. Maybe some kinds of farming does really harm the environment more than others. But the point that the question that I'm trying to get to is that with the concept of nature-based solution, do you think that if those land was completely 100% good biodiversity levels, good nature, we wouldn't be facing some of the floods that we've had? Do you think that's fair to say?
Absolutely. When you see the news, when you see the color of the flood, immediately that there's something wrong with the watershed. There's so much sediment that washed off from the watershed, and that just indicate you that you have problem, kind of upstream. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so bad, because one of the kind of campaign that when I was withสืบนักเสถียร Foundation is very simple, right? ไม่มีป่าไม่มีน้ำ because in Thailand basically all the water we derive from the forest, and it's not only that, because it also helps slow down, it helps absorb the water when you have the heavy rain, and that we keep losing that. I think up to the point that you lose the ecosystem services that the nature provide, because one thing, it also help regulating climate, it help mitigating all this natural disaster. So when we lose that, we have to pay the price, right? So it's sometimes when you hear all this natural disaster news, it's almost like nature sending you the bill, right, that kind of you are keep using without paying back.
And what is the way going forward here right now? Like you go to COP every year, do you?
Not every year, but there's many meetings,
and usually most of the goals are, some are met, some are not met, and but the temperature of the world is a very sensitive topic right now. Like I forgot what I was gonna ask. I was gonna say oh yeah, so how does how in your experience, because you've been in meetings both in Thailand and also abroad as well, like, well, how can we go forward here? Like, do the governments have to say no more emissions? Like, how do we actually solve this problem as fast as we can in your from your experience?
I mean, if the government or policymaker listen to science 20-30 years ago, we probably have a much easier task, to transform our economy. Because we know that the way we have developed since 50 years ago is not sustainable. We're taking too much resources. Back almost 50-60 years ago, there's a think tank by scientists, put together the book called Limit to Growth. So basically, the simple idea is that we have limited resources.
Right.
We cannot keep going like this. That was the warning 50 years ago. Of course, obviously, nobody listened to it, and that's why now we are sort of struggling to sort of transform the system. Of course, it's a lot harder now, but I still feel that we have solution, everything that you touch on, climate, biodiversity loss, pollution. In all front, we know what the solution is, and actually it sort of coming back how you see the way we develop the society, right? But this is also kind of, the question that maybe negotiating a lot at the top level in terms of the justice. Because the country that developed first, now that they have the developed mature economy, they're the one who use a lot more resources.
Right.
Historically, you see, how they use the resource.
You mean like more developed countries use more resources?
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's why it come to now, they're asking those countries to help, the lesser developed country to prepare, to help also transform the economy. So we don't have to go the path that we have to use up all the resources first, and then we're thinking about how we should do conservation. And I think this is a negotiation as well, because as we just talking that marginalized people, the community suffer the most. So how can we help them to sort of adapt as well as also safeguarding what they have left. And I think, throughout the world, you can see that conservation can be solution, not just for environmental side, but in many communities, once you lose the resources, it lead to social problem, it lead to economic problem. But if you kind of restore that sort of ecosystem, you can bring back both social cohesion, the culture that you want to preserve. You can also bring back the economy that's much more sustainable as well. So sometimes people kind of separate, when you talk about conservation and social problem and economic problem, but actually it's the same thing, but you have to put the price tag on nature. You have to put the price tag on natural capital. So far, we have been developed putting that as an externality. It's almost like nobody have to be responsible, but we all have to be accountable for it, because nature keep at the bill that we have used up.
It's been a very insightful session today.
A bit too serious.
No, not at all. I think it just, like, part of the podcast is basically going natural, whatever the mood takes us, whatever the flow takes us. Hopefully, this is not the first time you come on to this podcast นะครับเรียนเชิญนะครับ
ขอบคุณครับ I was going to tell you about my adventure in Australia.
Yeah. we could actually I did plan to go that route, but like I also got hooked in with, like, I wanted to know more from you. We don't really have a chance to talk about these kind of things. And I would have loved to, like, I think, like, next time we could do another session sometime down the road.
A lighter version, maybe.
I think it's fine, because we've had, like, World Bank. We had, like, someone come from, like, the safari in Rwanda that they come, and then it's like this kind of mood and tone, and that's completely fine. Thank you so much for being part of it. Here's you as the co-founder, maybe can you be a presenter for real quick. So this is Reef. Ajahn Pet is the co-founder. This is a product that uses coral reefs as a symbol. And how does this, what is the problem with sunscreen and corals?
I think so scientifically now we know that the common chemical that used in sunscreen causing a lot of stress to not just coral, actually all the marine animal as well. So it sort of accumulate in the body, it passes on in the food chain. So it's very bad, and in the lab they show that some of the chemical, if it high enough concentration, can cause the reproductive system of the coral, so sometimes it even bleach because of the stress. So I feel like this is a product that we all need to use every day because definitely sun protection is important but we have the choice as well to use the more friendly product so we get rid of all the harmful chemical we try to make the price competitive to normal sunscreen and then we want to prove also to tell the story that every time you use the sunscreen you have to think about coral as well and I think this is the lifestyle that we choose to live because if we don't care if we live on business as usual corals might not be around much longer and it is something that you can choose your kind of every life decision whether you're gonna support a more environmentally friendly product or just the normal one and I feel it also almost going to election every day with your money what money you want to support what brand you want to choose it's actually almost like you are casting your vote toward all these different brands
completely agree like these products are good for our ecosystem are good for for corals for example as well as these products and one of the problems that we have today is us as consumers are not supporting them enough so I hope that this tape can inspire people can understand what is going on in the world from a true scientist a very respected scientist right here อาจารย์ เพชร มโนปวิต so we should support them we should support these kind of products to make our world go in a more sustainable direction and thank you Think Thailand for being a sponsor to this tape to this episode tape is very โบราณ huh? Someone said tape นี่โบราณมาก but yeah I still call it tape so I'm still gonna call it tape I love tape and so thank you อาจารย์ เพชร for joining us today wish you all the best hope to work with you again soon and yes we definitely maybe in a couple months 6 months or a year from now we will invite you back and then you can tell us like all your cool experiences around the world because that is something that we would all love to hear and I wish you the best of luck ครับขอบคุณครับอาจารย์ เพชร ครับ okay like share subscribe see you all next episode ครับผม thank you for listening and watching